So I want to welcome you all, our media partners. We appreciate you all being here. These are some things that we want to release to the public. We will, first I'll introduce everybody at the podium. I'll read the press release. We'll take the other members of agencies that are here to make some statements, and then we'll take some questions at that point. So let me introduce, standing up here with me is Director of Schools Lee Parkinson, our School Safety Supervisor Justin Wallace, my SRO School Resource Officer Sergeant Jeremy Moore, and our District Attorney General Stephen Hatchett. You care to shut that door, Dewey? Sure. I think people are coming in doing some visitations. Thanks, man. Okay, I'm going to read the joint press release that myself and School Safety Supervisor Wallace has put together for you. The title is McMinn County Authorities believe relationships, teamwork, and teamwork may have prevented a planned school shooting. 2 male juveniles are facing charges after a possible planned attack on other McMinn County High School students, and this was discovered late Thursday night. I received a phone call around 10:30 or so Thursday night from the parent of one of these male juveniles. He had discovered something disturbing and wished to report it to me. He was very concerned over a video recording that he had discovered on a device that belonged to his son. The recording was made in November by his son and another student. They were dressed in masks and making statements that implied their planning of a school shooting type attack, naming certain students as possible targets. The parent felt that it was his duty to report this as soon as possible. Now, although the video had been made almost 3 months ago, it's important to remember that some other past incidents in our country, such as Columbine, have been found to have been planned up to a year prior to taking place. So once we realized what we were dealing with, and that we realized that some statements were made regarding a planned attack with firearms and possibly explosive devices, we felt the situation demanded quick attention. I immediately notified School Safety Supervisor Wallace, McMinn County High School Sergeant, SRO Sergeant Jeremy Moore, and our local Homeland Security agent that night as soon as I got off the phone with the parent. Within an hour of my call, School Safety Supervisor Wallace had spoken with the suspect's parents and arranged for those the student suspects to be suspended from school beginning on this past Friday, and scheduled them to undergo some threat assessments and evaluations. Mr. Wallace, along with our school resource officers and our local Homeland Security agent, worked throughout the day Friday to review the video, interview both suspects, begin an investigation, and collect further evidence. Additional statements and evidence were located on the students' phones. And prosecutors from our District Attorney General's office were consulted regarding criminal charges. This is a statement from, are you going to have a statement besides this?
Well, just what I've got there.
Okay, I'll let you make that then. At press time, both students are charged with conspiracy to commit acts of terrorism and are undergoing psychological evaluations and counseling. One is already in custody at the Bradley County Juvenile Detention Center. The other is completing some treatment in a mental health facility and will be transferred to the juvenile center upon release from treatment. Their phones and devices have been sent for digital forensic evaluation to see if there is more information that's related to the planning of this incident. Both sets of parents are cooperating in this investigation. So far, the investigation has not revealed any other suspects that are involved, only the 2 juveniles that I think are 14 and 15, if I'm correct. I do want to say that trust, communication, and working together were all key in this successful intervention. There's 2 things that I wanted to make mention of. First, we want to commend the parent that contacted me. This had to be a difficult call for him to make, but he knew that it was the right thing to do for the safety of everyone involved. The relationships and trust between law enforcement and the public are necessary in situations like this, where open lines of communication allowed for sharing concerns, and this enabled us to intervene quickly. I do want to say this too. This is a small county. We know each other. I'm familiar with this particular family. This is a parent who has always paid attention to his children, to his child. And they pay attention to the devices that young man uses. We encourage all parents to pay attention to what their kids are doing, what their kids are looking at online, the things that they're saving on their phones, the apps that they're using on their phones, the videos that they're watching. All of those things came into play, and noticing any changes in behavior that their children might exhibit. Those are all warning signs, and a good parent is going to pay attention to what's going on. Second, the close working relationship that's shared between the sheriff's office, our school administrators, our DA's office, and our local Homeland Security agent allowed us to respond as a cooperative team and quickly take action to ensure the safety of all students, staff, and the public. Everybody that stands before you, we all share the same goals: to keep our schools and our education environment safe. This is an ongoing investigation into a troubling situation. Our prayers are for patience, peace, and a safe resolution for everyone involved. Again, we encourage parents to pay attention. We can't say that enough. And for anyone with knowledge or of information regarding any kind of a risk to the safety of the school or our community, to report that information to law enforcement. That is the end of the release, and I'll allow my partners here to come up. Anybody that wants to make an additional statement. Justin?
Good evening. My name is Justin Wallace. I'm the safety supervisor for McMinn County Schools. We want to first start off by saying we are grateful to the Guardian for notifying law enforcement of the concerning material that prompted our actions and investigation. At no point Friday did we believe that our students or staff were in imminent danger, which is still the case today due to the collaborative efforts of our school administration and law enforcement. Our school officials have notified the parents of those who were mentioned in the potential threat. Our established safety protocols worked effectively, and our partnership with law enforcement resulted in a positive and safe outcome. We will continue working alongside Sheriff Guy and our other agencies throughout this investigation and threat assessment process, and we commend those involved in taking swift actions to ensure the safety of our students and staff of McMinn County Schools. We encourage the families and students to remain vigilant and continue reporting safety concerns through their appropriate channels. Thank you.
I'm Stephen Hatchett. I'm the District Attorney General for the 10th Judicial District. I echo Sheriff Guy's observations to parents. Please pay attention to what your children are doing. This situation was indeed brought about because a parent did the right thing and notified law enforcement about this situation. This is a serious situation, but I want to say this also to the parents of school children in McMinn County. This situation is under control. There is an ongoing investigation, but this matter is in the juvenile court system and it will be handled appropriately. I don't want anyone out there to have any concern or confusion about that. This matter is being handled. It will be handled. And I commend all of the agencies here for their actions in dealing with this matter. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Lee Parkinson, Director of Schools at McMinn County, and I just wanted to reiterate all of these statements. Our communication between law enforcement, schools, our administrators, the DA's office, it's just paramount that we work together, and I want to thank them for that. I want to thank Justin Wallace, our SRO, our school safety supervisor. He takes his job very seriously, and I just couldn't ask for more from him. Thank you for our SROs, all of our SROs. We appreciate them. We appreciate the work that they do. And again, we just need to remember that we see things, hear things, and we need to say something. And again, thank you from all of these, and I appreciate the jobs that they do.
I'll just add, Sergeant Jeremy Moore is standing here to my right. He is my school safety or school resource officer, supervisor. He has worked tirelessly over the past 2 days doing what needed to be done to find some resolution to this. He among several other people, but Jeremy has just done an outstanding job from the beginning of his time as an SRO to develop relationships with students to where they'll talk to him, develop relationships with parents, and I do appreciate the job that you've done. We do feel, we have discussed this amongst ourselves, we all feel that we have avoided a significant incident at McMinn County High School because this parent was good enough to report this, allow us to intervene. It's very unnerving. Most of the time when you see these things and you find out about these videos, it's after something has happened and there's been an investigation into why the person did what they did, and then they start finding some videos and things. We found those videos up front and allowed everybody that stands before you to work on resolving this and protecting our schools. And as General Hatchett said, it's under control, and we're happy to be able to say that. Our students are safe, our school is safe, our community is safe regarding this incident. So a lot of good work done by so many agencies that are represented here with me. At this time, we'll take questions, and if you could direct those questions to any of us, we'll be happy to try to answer those.
Since both of them are juveniles, what are the results of keeping them in custody for a period of time?
So there will be numerous evaluations done on both of these young men. The juvenile court judge ultimately will make whatever determination is necessary as far as detention goes, whether that's in a juvenile facility or if there is any sort of hospitalization, long-term or short-term. Those matters will start being addressed probably starting in the morning, quite frankly, when Judge Richardson takes the bench, and those determinations will be made by the judge based on a variety of factors, not the least of which is whatever is the outcome of any evaluations that the judge will undoubtedly order to determine what exactly is going on with these young men.
I guess for the sheriff, probably, or whoever can answer this, if this can be answered. Do you know, is there anything you can say as far as the means by which they were going to carry out the attack? Are we talking guns, knives, bombs, stuff like that? Or
I can only say they did make some references to firearms and explosives in some of the recordings they made. They did not have a written list of some of the students that they seemed to want to target, but they mentioned their names in the video.
They mentioned specific students.
I just want to make that clear. There wasn't a written list. It was just names that they mentioned in the video that they made in November.
How close were they to actually obtaining these things? Or do you know?
We're not aware of them actually obtaining any of it, but there are some search histories and things on some of their phones and electronic devices that seem to indicate that at least they were looking into obtaining those things. Any other questions?
One more for me. You know what or how, as much as you go into it, what the motive might have been for this?
So we were discussing that as well, and I'll welcome any input. You know, there's so many things about society that seems to affect how young people think, and maybe even a great majority of Americans think. I think we have to remember, again, that's why we keep stressing for parents to pay attention to their children. Their children, they have 14, 15-year-old brains that are not fully developed, and they're easily manipulated, they're easily impressed upon things, and that's why when they watch videos of things and obsess over certain things and get those ideas in their minds, it seems to have an effect on them. This is not the first time that this has happened with young people. You know, those answers, I'm sure, hopefully will come to light, or at least some answers will. But I think it's the experience of everybody standing before you. There are just some things in life that are difficult and sometimes impossible to explain why people do the things they do. What's important is these young men get the treatment that they need, that anyone needing this type of treatment receives the treatment they need, and get their attention focused on much more positive things, valuing life more, valuing the lives of their schoolmates and fellow students, much more than obviously that they did. Any other comments? You guys got anything else you want to add?
No.
I'll just end by saying again, we can't say this enough, we hope this is an example of successful intervention when the public, a parent, a teacher, a student brings us information that we can act upon prior to something terrible happening. And we were luckily able to do that in this case. We will continue to develop that trust with the public. All of us will in our different agencies. But we certainly want to encourage families to pay attention. This can happen to any family if we're not careful. If we don't pay attention to our young people and pay attention to the things that's affecting their decision making, I'm afraid we'll see more of this in the future. So it's all of our responsibilities. We can only do so much as we respond to these incidents. We want and we ask for the help of parents and grandparents and uncles and aunts and family members and friends and students. Anyone with information on any kind of threat, anything in our communities, to come forward with that and let us intervene and get people the help that they need before something terrible happens. Well, thank you all for coming and getting this message out there. Thank you very much.